Como a experiência de uma garota no campo de concentração de Auschwitz pode servir de inspiração para esses tempos de incerteza, com a pandemia batendo às nossas portas, governos e mandatários negligentes, a extrema-direita espreita e os protestos nas ruas. Edith Eva Eger era uma bailarina de 16 anos quando o exército invadiu seu vilarejo na Hungria. Seus pais foram enviados à câmara de gás, mas ela e a irmã sobreviveram. Edith foi encontrada pelos soldados americanos em uma pilha de corpos dados como mortos. Já descrita como a Anne Frank, que não morreu, Edith, hoje aos 93 anos, morando em um vilarejo na Califórnia, sugestivamente chamado de Paradise, discorre sobre sua experiência em Auschwitz e toda a trajetória de superação e autoconhecimento que a seguiu em vida no best-seller A Bailarina de Auschwitz. Não à toa, a obra aparece no topo da seleção de leituras sugeridas durante a pandemia por ninguém menos que Bill Gates. Este livro já foi lançado no Brasil pela Sextante e agora no segundo semestre, a editora prepara o lançamento de um segundo livro de Edith, O Presente, apresentando uma visão mais conceitual sobre os conhecimentos adquiridos pela autora, que é doutora em psicologia e ainda atende a pacientes, aplicando o que aprendeu no campo de concentração em suas terapias. Bailarina desde criança, e ela ainda arrisca alguns passos, já recebeu de Mengele a ordem para dar piruetas ao som da valsa Danúbio Azul, para o deleite do doutor da morte. Ganhou um pedaço de pão em troca. Nesta entrevista, ela também descreve como foi voltar a Auschwitz 5 décadas depois para um seminário do qual participou em uma cidade vizinha. Desfrute da sabedoria de Edith nessa conversa iluminada.
Hello.
Edith.
Here I am. Hi, Maurice. Hi, Maurice.
It's a huge emotion to be with you, Mrs. Edith. Huge emotion to listen from you.
It's very, very mutual. I love to see your smile and your joie de vivre. You're full of life. And that's what the two of us are going to be all about. Give people hope and find a gift in everything.
What brought me to you was obviously reading your book, which my mother recommended to me.
Thank you to your mom. You have a wise mom. Not smart, wise.
Wise. What lessons from your experience in World War II can inspire us at this moment?
Okay. I can inspire you that it's not what's happening, it's the way we look at things. The way we look at things. So I like to be your ophthalmologist, that I can give you a different perspective. I give you a different perspective, that there are no problems in the world. I just said that before. I was talking to South Africa. There are no problems in my book. There are only challenges. And there are no crashes, there are only transitions. So I like to be a good ophthalmologist, that you look at everything in life. When everything is taken away from you, I'm going to tell you that you are locked in with yourself. And if you happen to be an introvert, you would love it. If you're an extrovert, you may have more problems because, you can't wait to connect with other people. But instead of concentrating what we don't have and complaining about it, you can just say, it's time out. It's time out. I may read another book that I didn't have time for before. I may spend more time with my child and ask some deeper questions, like how can you be committing yourself to the betterment of mankind. Because one person, like Gandhi, I just spoke to South African people, and I was at the Gandhi Museum in Johannesburg many, many years ago, and it's just how we look at things. And I hope to be a good ophthalmologist to let you know, never ever give up. I also will tell you I'm very proud that I carry a Jewish heritage, because my ancestors didn't give up. That's why I'm here. And believe me, they didn't have it so good. And yet they carried that this is temporary and we can survive it. So this is the way I hope I can guide people to move inward, because that's the only one you will have for a lifetime. All other relationships will end. The dependency breeds depression. If you wait for someone to make you happy, you're never going to be happy. Just so be a WHOLE person, a whole person, body, mind, spirit, working, loving, playing, have a good balance in your life. So when you get up in the morning, you look in the mirror and say, Maurice, I love you. Because self-love is self-care, right? It's not narcissistic. I keep saying that like a preacher, but I don't want to be a preacher. I want to be a teacher. I am a teacher.
As a teacher, which lessons would you recommend for the people?
The lessons I recommend most of all to pay attention to your inner dialogue, the way you talk to yourself, that you are realistic, but not idealistic. Okay, there is evil in the world. That doesn't mean that we're going to act upon that. But if I would possibly, God forbid, see that my granddaughter is being raped somewhere, I don't know if I would want to talk to that person. I may grab that, that we all have a Hitler within us, and we have kindness and goodness. And in a concentration camp, all we had was each other, and we had to commit ourselves to form a family of inmates. If you were just for the me, you didn't make it in Auschwitz. And I think that now we are totally divided, and it's very chaotic. And this is a good time to regroup and redecide, to make a decision. And none of the positive thinking does any good unless it's followed with a positive action. So be a good parent to you. Be a good mommy to you. Love yourself every morning and make a decision how you're going to feel at night. And no one can get to you without you allowing them. Some people like to be victims because then it gives you the entitlement to do nothing, because there is no victim without a victimizer. Children blame. I don't care how old they are. 20, 40, 80, 90. You make me angry. You make me this. No, you don't make me any of that unless I allow you. So I like to be remembered as someone who is a guide, really, and take your little hand and take you from darkness to light, but you don't forget what happened. You come to terms with it. I call it my cherished wound.
How are you coping with the pandemic? Are you living in California?
I love it because I'm an introvert and gives me more time to be with myself. And that's very good company. I think is the best. I am introverted, but I know that people who are extroverted having a harder time. And so I like the idea to look within and see how you discover your spirit, your soul that was with you when you were born, and it's going to be with you when you die. That's what my sister told me when I was told that my parents are burning in a gas chamber. And my sister told me the spirit never dies. That's how I entered Auschwitz in May 1944. The spirit never dies. And I'm here to tell you that I was able to, with God's help, to turn hatred into pity. And I felt sorry for the gods.
Right now, here in Brazil, we are the global epicenter of the pandemic. And many people are dying and neglect of the authorities. And we also have a very serious political problem with fascism lurking. Fascism. How can I deal with this?
Well, you just say to people, thank you for your opinion. You know, never deny someone else's truth. Okay, I worked with schizophrenics, and when they told me that pink elephants are crawling on that wall, I just say, oh, tell me about it. Just everybody is entitled to have free speech, but that doesn't mean you're right or wrong. You're right for you. I'm right for Edith, but I cannot be right for you. We have to give up the need to be right, especially in marriage. Especially in marriage, because I cannot be right for anyone else except me.
How to cope with negative forms of social influence on the individual?
I would say possibly something like, I'd like to know if I could maybe share with you the way I see things, but never argue with such a person. Never say. So if they tell you that the Holocaust never existed, you have to go back to Plato, who said you have to think of a lie, a big one, and then you repeat it until people believe it. So our biggest enemy is what we experience now, that people listen to someone else's truth and they don't question authority. Mm-hmm. You have to question authority. And I think it's an opportunity for us to develop some kind of a dialogue that I can be I and you can be you. My sister was with me in Auschwitz. And when I decided to go back to Auschwitz, and I asked my sister to come with me, because my mother told me in the cattle car, we don't know where we're going, we don't know what's going to happen. Just remember, I have someone send me a picture many, many years ago, and it says what my mother told me, that no matter, we don't know where we're going, we don't know what's going to happen, just remember, no one can take away from you, okay, what you put in your own mind. And that's exactly what happened. Everything, there was nothing coming from the outside. And this is coming now to us to look inward, to look in our soul, our sixth sense. This is a very, very good, excuse me.
Could you say some words about the prison of your own mind, of our own mind?
The prison is on our own mind because I give you science. the way you get up in the morning, the way you go to the bathroom, the way you think changes your whole biology. See?
And some few words also about the importance of kindness actions.
Yes, I like kindness. I like kindness in a man. I like a man, especially a father who is a role model to the children, the way he loves the children's mother. And that's your wife. That you are getting in the morning and thinking, how can I be in this family a knowledgeable leader, but not a dictator? So I ask people, don't ask, how are you? And don't say, why don't you? Don't ask questions and don't give advice, because that's when people lie. I used to ask my patients, how are you? And I would say, fine. And they were suicidal. So the next time they came, I said, gee, it's good to see you. I missed you. You create an atmosphere. We're very good at creating an atmosphere, especially us women, you know, that you can feel any feelings with me, and you're never going to fear that I'm going to judge you. There is no such thing as truth. There is no such thing. There is my truth and there is your truth. It's all subjective.
How should I manage with the fear?
How you manage is, first of all, be realistic and not idealistic. Because if you're an idealist and you don't find exactly what you're looking for, you become very cynical, sarcastic. I like philosophical humor. I also ask people, get rid of yes, but, and give me the but and I give you and. Yes, and furthermore, that you are evolving, not revolving. Not to do the same thing over and over again, Einstein said, and expect different results, because that's the definition of insanity. It's, I give you a different perspective. It's not better or worse. I'm just speaking to you as a very, very sophisticated professional.
Thank you.
And also a survivor of Auschwitz, the IQ and the EQ. The EQ is really very important, because there are many people go from school to school to school. You know, they go to school and then they end up teaching school. And if you're married to one of those, they may not know how to go to a grocery store and pick up a package of orzo. They never heard of orzo, you know, or anything else, or a can of beans, whatever it is, because they were taught somehow to figure things out. And that's why I'm saying there are no problems, there are challenges. But you know, hopefully I like the modern marriage because they work together as a team. There is no the guy's work and a woman's work, no such thing. They both wash the car, they both change the diaper, they both go to the delivery room, and the man takes his shirt off and bonds with the little girl, and never one instant of incest. I am very impressed with the young and modern marriage. Very impressed with you. You know,
Thank you.
You know, it's the old-fashioned people who believe that the child is your, you know, you can do anything with the child because your child is your possession. I had a 55-year-old man who told me when he was 9 years old, his dog died. and he cried. And the father came in, and he said, "The man doesn't cry," and grabbed the son, went to the pet shop, and bought another puppy. He told me, "Dr. Eger, I'm 55 years old. I have yet to shed a tear since I'm 9 years old." So we grieve over not what happened, but what didn't happen.
And how to manage our rage?
Oh, the opposite of depression is expression. Scream it out. Go to the ocean, in the car. You scream, you cry, and then laugh like a hyena. And then you feel better when you arrive. That's my homework.
Yesterday I was thinking about that. I was reading again your book, preparing for the interview, and I realized that there is no many talk about God or about religion, about faith somehow.
Yeah. Well, faith is different from belief. When people say, "I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe," I don't pay any attention to that, but I wonder what kind of life you lead. Show me. See, show me. Because I don't care about any of the positive thinking unless you make up your mind and you put it into action, hopefully that you look what hunger is doing to people in the world, how you can possibly maybe cook a meal and take it down to the homeless. And, you know, I think love is not what you feel, is what you do.
Could you narrate your episode of meeting Dr Mengele?
Yes. I had a dream that I'm going to go down to South America and meet Dr. Mengele. I had that dream, and I was going to be an American journalist. And then I was going to tell him that I was the 16-year-old who you almost sent to the gas chamber, but you gave me a piece of bread. That never happened. I understand he died in Chile because the Israelis were after him, and he went to Chile. When I met him, I didn't know that he was Dr. Mengele. I met him when I was approaching him with my mother on one end and my sister the other. And he asked, "Is this your mother or is this your sister?" And I never forgave myself by saying, "It's my mother." So I followed my mother, and he grabbed me. I never forget those eyes, and said, "Your mother is going to take a shower, and you're going to see her later." And threw me on the other side, which meant life. So we had Veterans Day a few days ago, and I was saying that that if you suffer from survivor's guilt, and many people do who were in a Vietnam War, they think that if I would have been here instead of there, then my body wouldn't have died. And when I graduated with honors from the university, I didn't show up for my graduation because I did not forgive myself that I survived. So survivor's guilt is something I'm hoping that you can acknowledge, that somehow maybe there is a God who makes a decision for each of us, even before we are born, and to accept and stay in the present. And I think it's very equatorial writes about that if you are too much in the past, that means you don't spend enough time in the present. I live in the present, but I don't forget what happened. I don't overcome what happened. I call it my cherished wound. I have a special place in my heart. And part of me was left in Auschwitz. And I am acknowledging that. But I go through the valley of the shadow of death. It's in the Bible, but I don't get stuck in there. I am not a victim. I was victimized. It's not my identity. It's not who I am. It's what was done to me. There is a big difference because you cannot be a victim without a victimizer.
What is the importance of the Jewish heritage for you?
Oh, I think everything. I'm very proud. I'm very proud to come and carry the blood of the people who walked 40 years. They were going to the promised land, right? And they didn't give up. They didn't give up. So you and I carry that blood. I'm very proud. And hopefully not smart, but wise. I always ask people to watch Fiddler on the Roof because that woman makes her husband feel that he makes all the decisions. And guess who makes all the decisions? She's a wise woman. She doesn't have ego issues, or she's not competing. She knows exactly who she is and what is best for the whole family. And this is what you have to really look at, especially if you have a president who is also looking everything, what is going to be good for the world, not what is just good for me.
Do you still practice ballet?
Ballet, yes. I was dancer.
I'm still
dancing all the time, especially when I work with couples. They talk to me about sex and money and in-laws, and that's what I do on the one hand. On the other hand, I'm still doing my choreography in a different way. Life is about the dance, yes, the dance of life.